5 suspects charged in the Times Square attack against 2 NYPD officers are behind bars tonight after facing a judge.
This is we're learning now 2 of the suspects are tied to a Venezuelan gang. Fox 8 Linda Schmidt is live in Lower Manhattan with the latest details. Linda.
That's right there. Well, first of all, I can tell you this. I spoke with ICE today, and ICE confirming that 2 of the suspects in this case are members of a brutal Venezuelan gang. That gang is called Tren de Aragua. Federal authorities saying this is just proof that gang members are making it across the southern border. Wilson Juarez and Kelvin Servita Arocha in court today in Lower Manhattan are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, according to ICE. The 2 are part of the migrant mob accused of beating and kicking 2 NYPD officers in Times Square last month. ICE telling me today that Juarez should not have even been in the U.S. A judge in El Paso, Texas, ordered him deported a year ago. Now,
a violent Venezuela gang has made its way to the United States and made the streets dangerous. Tren de Aragua has been creating trouble in Venezuela and other parts of the Latin America. In this video, we will discuss this disturbing growth of the gang's presence in America. We begin. New York City has been a hotbed for gang activities, likely due to liberal migrant policies. The gang busted on to the attention of citizens a couple of months ago in a string of violent and shocking incidents. We will also explore the gang's influence in other states. Before we move on, there is one more unbelievable story that occurred in New York.
That suspect was arrested in Yonkers this afternoon. His last known address is a migrant shelter on the Upper West Side.
All right, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt joins us live from Times Square with the latest on this late-breaking update. Linda.
yeah, first of all, good evening to both of you. And the first thing to tell you here, the NYPD as well as the mayor holding a news conference about 25 minutes from now to update everybody about the arrest. But yes, he was taken into custody, and yes, it did happen in Yonkers. Now, this was an all-out manhunt for this kid. He's 15 years old. Not only was he wanted for allegedly firing into this store last night, but also firing on the street as he was running away from police. He is also wanted for a connection to an armed robbery in the Bronx that happened just 2 weeks ago. And he is also suspected of firing his gun into the air at a park here on 45th Street. So top brass with the NYPD saying he was obviously armed and dangerous. The store surveillance video is chilling. An undercover female security guard stops 3 teenage boys who are migrants after police say they were seen shoplifting in the JD Sports Store in Times Square. She takes their bag, and then the 15-year-old wearing all white pulls out a .45 caliber gun from a fanny pack and fires a shot at her. The bullet hitting a tourist from Brazil who was shopping. Surveillance video also shows the suspect then firing wildly at a police officer who was chasing him on a busy city street.
He's running, he takes his gun out under his armpit. He fires again at our officer.
Police say the officer did not return fire out of concern for innocent bystanders. The suspect is Jesus Rivas Figueroa. He is from Venezuela and arrived in the city in September. His last known address is a migrant shelter on West 70th Street. The other 2 teens are ages 15 and 16, also migrants, and they all attend the same high school in Upper Manhattan. They are also under arrest. The NYPD saying there is a growing problem in the city with Venezuelan gangs.
Tren de Aragua originated in the Tocaron prison in the state of Aragua, Venezuela around 2009 to 2010. The group was founded and led by Hector Rustenford Guerrero Flores, also known as Nino Guerrero, during his imprisonment in Tocaron prison. Under Nino Guerrero's leadership, Tocaron prison became one of Venezuela's most notorious prisons, as the Venezuelan government had an unofficial policy of handing control of some prisons over to criminal bosses known as pranes.
So we've seen a spate of some very brazen cell phone robberies in New York City that's been attributed to a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua, which has its...
From this base in Tocaron prison, Tren de Aragua began expanding its influence, first in the nearby San Vicente neighborhood where it established social control, and then taking over territories of other criminal gangs like Tren del Llano after their leader was killed in 2016. This allowed Tren de Aragua to grow into Venezuela's largest and most powerful criminal organization. On September 20th, 2023, Venezuela sent in 1,100 troops to recapture the prison from gang members. The findings inside of the prison would surprise law enforcement. Members of the gang had made some interesting renovations, but many of the gang were gone. Where had they gone? Some believe that the Venezuelan government had let gang members out of jail. Many have ended up in the United States through our porous borders.
Y lograremos capturarlos a todos, inclusive en el ámbito internacional. Si llegasen a escapar, a huir algunos de los integrantes de todos estos grupos, cómplices y conexiones, los vamos a capturar, porque para ello estamos adelantando coordinaciones y conexiones de carácter diplomático.
The Venezuelan gang is not only a problem to New Yorkers. They have infiltrated states such as Florida and have committed crimes there also. The gang was linked to the murder of a retired police officer in that state.
Venezuelan crime is making its way right here to the United States. Police say one criminal gang that has been causing havoc throughout Latin America is now in South Florida, and at least one of its members was involved in a recent murder. Jorge Ventura joins us live with more. Jorge, this has been a growing concern across the United States. What more can you share with us this morning?
Yeah, that's right, Marky. Venezuela's largest criminal organization is now operating inside the United States in cities like Chicago and Miami. Sources telling News Nation that known members from a Venezuelan prison gang named Tren de Aragua have joined the millions of Venezuelans leaving the country on their way to the U.S. The Miami Herald is reporting that an alleged member and a Venezuelan migrant is now being charged with murder of a retired Venezuelan police officer in South Florida. According to police reports, a 23-year-old Yerwin Salazar played a role in luring, abducting, and killing that officer in late November. Violent crimes like this murder are common in Venezuela and are a major reason why hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans are leaving the country. Members of the gang openly pose with weapons on social media and are known to have a tattoo of a train.
Today we delved into the fascinating origins of the Tren de Aragua in Venezuela, tracing its roots to the crime-ridden streets of New York and Florida. From its inception to its global impact, this journey sheds light on the complex